It's a Teen Talk Skating podcast where I embarrass myself. Hello, and welcome to episode 39 of a Teen Talk Skating podcast. My name is Van Gogh, and I am very excited for this episode because it is the start of the Grand Prix series, and I will be discussing Skate America. But before that, I hope you all are doing very well. Last week was so stressful for me. So many things going on. I got tests and midterms and projects and everything going on at school, and then a bunch of things going on in my personal life as well. But of course, I made so much time to watch figure skating. Um, and remember when I said like last week was bad? Like this week was also really bad. Yeah, like no, like it was really bad. And I often joke on this podcast that sometimes I'd rather watch figure skating for 5 hours straight and lay in bed. But legitimately, I watched 5 hours of figure skating straight in one sitting. I'm literally not kidding. I watched 5 hours straight of figure skating. It was pretty serious. Literally, I watched from 9 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I enjoyed every single minute of those 5 hours. Admittedly, um, but I hope you all are doing well. It's October now, and it's kind of giving fall vibes where I live, but at the same time, it's still hot because I hate where I live. Um, and I hope the weather's all good, and I hope that that's my Discord. What the heck? I hope the sun is shining, and the clouds are flying. I don't know. How do you describe clouds? I don't know. Um, let's not be crazy, okay? But anyway, time for your program of the week. I was gonna say main episode, but no, your program of the week is next, and I love this program, and I will let future Van Gogh discuss it for you. Okay? Okay. Bye bye. Program of the week. Okay, so I think this is a big coincidence, but if I remember correctly, 2 or maybe 3 weeks ago, I did a program from Adam Rippon, who co-hosts the podcast The Run Through, an amazing figure skating podcast. Go check them out. With another figure skater, that being Ashley Wagner. And coincidentally, we have an Ashley Wagner program here today. I always felt that Ashley Wagner was so good at being her in a sense. Like she felt her, if that makes sense. She felt when she skated, she was Ashley Wagner in a way. I don't know if that ever like really makes sense, but I feel like she really um expressed herself and not anything else. Expressed herself through the music that she chose. Oh my gosh, my Discord. But anyway, this week we have Ashley Wagner's La La Land program from the 2018 U.S. Figure Skating Championships, National Figure Skating Championships. And I absolutely love this program from Ashley Wagner, and I wish she really did compete with it more. I know that's a big thing with everyone that I believe she only competed with La La Land once, I believe. And it was at this competition. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I cannot find like another copy, basically, another um, run through of this program. But Ashley Wagner's La La Land is amazing. Obviously, I love the soundtrack of La La Land. Never seen the movie, but I would love to. But let's go back at on. Like I'm a little chattery today, huh? Chatty. Um, this program is such a breath of fresh air. I feel like it combines a musical with art and skating and ice, and it's Ashley Wagner being very open in this, and you can tell that she kind of really does feel and relate to the music, especially the parts with audition, the fools who dream is just so. Oh my gosh, I love the voice of Emma Stone with Ashley Wagner skating to it. I like the simplicity in Ashley Wagner's jumps almost. Her double axel is probably her best jump, I would say. Like her double axel was so just it was just so simple, and it was just so done, and it was just so relaxing to watch almost. There was no strain in it at all. It was just so easy to watch that double axel. Her triple flip, triple toe combo here is also, it gets a lot of air. You can tell that there's a lot of air that she gets in these jumps, and she jumps quite high, I would say. There are mistakes in the program, but in the technical, but whatever. Um, and then the parts when she's doing like a nice spread eagle in the choreo sequence is beautiful. Um, and the parts that are a little more upbeat with someone in the crowd is really clapping along, and they're just it just feels perfect to watch. And she's like smiling throughout the whole program. I just love her smile, and I love how like joyous she is in this program. And I wish she skated to it more because it's beautiful music, La La Land. And she's a beautiful interpreter of the music that she skates to. So yeah, please go check it out. Ashley Wagner, her La La Land free skate at the 2018 U.S. National Figure Skating Championships. Please go check it out. It's such a breath of fresh air. If you want something relaxing, that's what I'm thinking is your. Don't go to the spa. No, watch this program. Okay. Time for your main episode where I will go crazy for 50 minutes straight. Yay. I need to stop singing in this segment. Oh my gosh. That's how I'm driving away listeners, aren't I? Well, too bad. They're already gone, huh? That was your program of the week. Okay, people, let's get the elephant out of the room because, honey, what happened with Skate America 2024? I do not know. Legitimately, what happened? Skate America, Texas, what happened? Okay? Because, like, I just can't anymore, okay? Like, I can't. I'm so sorry. I'm quitting this podcast now. But when I said the Grand Prix season would be chaotic, I did not think this level of chaotic. The season had already been chaotic. This is the first Grand Prix. This is the first Grand Prix. Skate America was the first Grand Prix in out of 6 Grand Prix, and it was chaotic. I was not like the results, the numbers, I was like, oh boy, we are in for a ride, aren't we? And sure we are. Because this goes down in history, probably, for me at least, as probably one of the crazier competitions in recent memory, at least out of these past few seasons. At least like the major competitions too, but like Skate America 2024. Who hurt you? Who offended you? Do you need a therapist? I'm here for you. Can we talk? Can we talk? Can we talk? Because like if Skate America 2025 is this chaotic, I'm done. I'm done with this sport. But literally men, women, pairs, even ice dance, okay, people? Even ice dance was chaotic. Okay? Like, oh my gosh, what happened? Um it was chaos everywhere. And I will say, I feel like a lot of that chaos came from the fact that scoring here in general was quite strict. I saw a lot of people commenting on this. I agree too. The scoring here was quite strict, especially with rotations and levels and components. People were not really getting level fours. People were not really getting all their rotations around. And the judging panel was like, no, 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 no. I saw that. I saw that. You can't hide from me. You cannot hide from me. The components even were like not that high. But literally, I don't know who offended the ice. Okay, maybe it was the giant amlactin lotion bottles that they had near the Kiss and Cry, but it was not having it. The ice was like, no, fall, no, no, pop jump, Um, yeah, yeah, it was really bad. And so for the next 48 minutes, I guess now, I'm gonna cry. Yeah, I'm gonna cry. That's it. That's the episode. But more seriously, I'm gonna cry over the competition. I'm still gonna talk about it. But just so you know, there are tears in my eyes falling down because I've not recovered yet. I'm still hurt, and I was quite literally concerned for my brain during this whole competition. I had just escaped a pre-calculus test and a history test, and I had a midterm coming up, and I was watching this competition being like, who? How? What? When? Who in the Allen, Texas? Who? What? Yeah, it really was testing if it was exploding or not. Um, but without further ado, let's talk about the specific competition. Skate America 2024. And I will be discussing like what I saw from the TV at least. I do not own like Peacock or NBC Sports, unfortunately, or whatever it is. So I get what I can from cable, and they did show most of the competition. I watched half of the men's competition, literally the top six skaters. I watched all of the women's competition, like short program and free skate for all tall skaters. Watched half of the pairs, and I watched like most of the ice dance. So yeah. Popularity and fierce skating struggle. I wish all of the competitions were on TV, and on cable for everyone to watch. But figure skating not that popular. I wish it was. Let's talk about the men. Okay, let's start with the men. And the men are the men. The men are the men. That's all I'm gonna say, guys. It's just chaotic. That's all I have to say. It was I don't even know. I don't even know. I was dying and crying and screaming and Taylor Swifting all at once in my head. I was like, "Huh?" Like it was straight up like question mark? Question mark what happened? Me on my essays. Anyway, I want to discuss Jonathan Carrillo from Mexico in 12th place here, unfortunately. At Worlds last year, he did really well. I believe he got 15th place, if I remember correctly. We haven't really seen him around Worlds since. Here at Skate America, he did have a lot of errors, unfortunately. He did under rotate all the jumping passes in the short program, but he was still ninth place there. In the free, he made a strange mistake where he was trying a quad salchow, but it turned into a zero salchow because his edge just slipped. This did happen also to Oh, I forgot the name. I forgot who it was. It was one of the Japanese men. This did also happen to Koshiro Shimada of Japan, who also slipped on a quad salchow and ended up only doing a zero salchow. But Donovan Carrillo did also have quarter calls and pops here and there. He is still a great skater, and everyone loves him and his skating. Obviously, he is really hoping to recreate that world's performance, perhaps he is like I will say I feel like Donovan Carrillo is usually a later season peaker. I'm hoping that we can see him at the free skate at Worlds, that he can qualify a spot for Mexico at the Olympics because I would love to see him again. I feel like the world really went crazy for him when they saw him at the Olympics and he got his little celebrity moment and I really want him to have it again. But the jumps are important and he unfortunately did have a few mistakes, a lot of mistakes here in the jumps. But I'm really hoping that he can do better and get some more success in for him. And I love Donovan Carrillo, and I know a lot of people do. In fifth place, we have a skater who it's no secret that he is one of my favorites. And that is Dennis Valsias of Latvia. And I think this competition is really decent for Dennis Valsias overall. 251.47 is a great score for this early in the season. It's a pretty competitive score as well. I feel like considering like the global context, this is a pretty competitive score. Not the best, could be higher, but 251 is a really good score. In the short program, he had an edge call and a kind of a stumble on a triple flip. In the free skate, the only mistake was a downgraded quad salchow. It When I watched it live, it did look a bit off, kind of thing. I wasn't sure if he like didn't feel stable in the air and he kind of like tried to pop it into a triple salchow, but then maybe half of him was also like, no, I'm gonna rotate it. But he did end up downgrading it, the quad salchow. And I was very much on the edge of my seat for each of these jumping passes for him. I was like, oh my god, is he gonna land it? Is he gonna land it? Is he gonna pop it? Oh my god. Um, and the question I would like to pose for him, I guess, is like, is the quad worth doing for him anymore? I totally understand why Dennis Rodriguez is trying to do the quad. It gets a lot of points, obviously, when he lands it well. But I feel like his success rate on the quad salchow isn't the best. So I am wondering if he would consider changing his technical layout to be maybe less in base value, but more in grade of execution. Obviously, like the math is like, the proportions and the math and the balances are all a bit different here and there. So it is quite interesting what he will do with that. But both of his programs are literally top notch. His free skate to La Bayadere is so majestic and so royal and so sophisticated, I would say. It's really good. Um, really good at like adding that like touch of like I'm a prince kind of vibe. It just feel very royal and very monarchy vibe. I don't know. And I want him to succeed so much. Obviously, he's one of my favorites. I'm really hoping he can get back on the European podium this year. Please, Dennis Losievs. In fourth place, we have someone who I've really pushed forward as a rising talent in these recent seasons, and that is Nika Igadze of Georgia. He is a technical phenomenon, I would say, so far that we've seen him in skating. Artistically, I will discuss later how he could be better. His short program was really clean. He did both a quad toe and a quad salchow, two quads, great GOE on both of them. And that's really where he's getting a lot of his points. Whereas, his artistic component side might be falling, the technical side and the GOE it really makes up for it. The free skate was a bit more difficult for him. He did fall on an attempted quad lutz, and he did stumble on a quad salchow. He is still doing, and this is interesting to me. I discussed this at the Dennis Head Memorial, I believe, but he is trying to do all 7 jumping passes in the free skate like in a row. Which is still interesting to me that he's not taking a break in the middle for a spin or a step sequence or a choreo sequence. If it works for him, it works for him, but I don't know if maybe having that break in the middle would be better for his consistency or not. If he doesn't feel like it is, go with whatever he says. I'm not the skater, so I don't know. Artistically, his programs were not too like, they weren't really giving me a lot. There was some choreo in there, right? But it didn't feel very natural choreo. It didn't feel very like, okay, this is what I was taught to do and not really what I wanted to do, maybe. And there was a lot of focus, especially on the jumps. You could see it in his eyes. It was like laser focus, need to land these quads. And I really hope you can kind of let go of that and let out more of that artistic feeling going for him. I really hope he gets, more programs that are better suited to his liking, I would say. Similar to what we've seen from Ilya Malinin, for example, who is using music that relates more to him, and so it does feel more artistic. Maybe that's what Nikki Gadze could do similarly. But in any case, he is still really good at the technical side, and I could really see him as a dark horse later this season if he can be cleaner. If he can be clean, I think he can reach like 270 probably really easily. Maybe 280 maybe. He did even set all personal bests here even with the mistakes in the free skate. So, definitely if he can get more and more and more consistent, I definitely see him going to maybe 280 overall in score. Which, is a fantastic number. Kao Miura of Japan was in third place here. He is one of Japan's really big top talents, especially after the recent retirement of Shoma Uno. In the short program, he just did a quarter on the triple axel. He was second there, barely. He was almost first place. In the free skate, he did have a quarter on the quad toe loop, and he did under rotate a triple axel in the free. So I'm not sure if his triple axel is like a weaker jump for him, but they didn't look compared to his like quads and other jumps. It didn't look as stable, I would say. But technically, he is still excellent when he hits it, and I think his really main goal for this season for Kalmura. I think his really main goal is to prove himself here and at later Grand Prix events. Obviously, I don't remember what event he has next, but at his next Grand Prix event, he's here to prove himself as one of Japan's top men for the world's team, and obviously, especially the Olympics, alongside presumably Yuma Kageyama, who is probably the top Japanese man here, or currently in the global space. But Kalmier has always been there as well, and he's always been technically very good. If he can get those rotations done, if he can get consistent, Kalmier is a force to be reckoned with, and I don't think people should underestimate him. at all. I think Japan is so strong and he is so strong. Programs, I think the artistry is developing. I liked his Umbrellas of Cherbourg. It's kind of getting there. And yeah, Kamier in third place. In second place was a very huge surprise. I have to say this is probably the most one of the most I have to say that one of the most shocking things here at this event at Skate America 2024, and that was because second place was Kevin Amos. Um Last season we saw Kevin Amos. He qualified at the Grand Prix final, and that was kind of when the season started going awry for him. He didn't do so well at the Grand Prix final. He placed sixth there. He went to French nationals. He was, presumed to be either the champion or second place. I believe he got eighth place or sixth place there, I believe, with a really poor free skate there. He went to Europeans and he didn't qualify to the short program or the free skate, I mean. He didn't qualify to the free skate, unfortunately, and then he withdrew from Worlds. And so he had not been having really good results since last year about this time. French Masters last month was a really poor competition, unfortunately. His final score in total was only 160 ish, I believe, 170 ish, I believe. And so, when your total score is about 170 ish, that is quite concerning considering Kevin Amos, has shown time and time again in the past that he is a quite high scoring skater around 270s, 280s, 290s that he's shown before. Um, and so coming into this, I think a lot of people really thought, Kevin Amos he's not going to do very well here. He's not going to be very good. But this competition changed everything for him. And I mean that in the best way possible. I think he had so much struggle that he just pushed behind at this competition. Um, his short program is so much fun. It was the most fun thing I've ever watched in a long time. It was dynamic, it was fun, it was club, it was disco, it was what is going on. The crowd was like screaming so much more than like a Harry Styles concert. It was crazy. So much screaming. It's like, oh my god, he did not just do that, but he did a cartwheel, he did a somersault, he did a like a cool move on the ground where he kicks his leg in the air. He's like, it was very vibing and it was very him and it was very expressive and it was super fun. It was super take me to the club vibe. That he did really well there. In the free skate, he was first in the free skate with a personal best score. He legitimately brought the house down. The screaming was screaming. The free skate was artistic, it was innovative. There was this moment where he just kind of slid on the ground and paused in a stationary position. It was like, that's so interesting. It was a break from all the movement. Very interesting concept. He landed his quad, he landed the triple axel. And this was so important for Kevin Amos, especially. He came here to show that he was not done yet. He came here to show that he was not going to let what happened in the past uh, that later half, the second half of last season really affects him. And the real question is if he can compete to develop the rest of the season and keep this really amazing momentum that he has going on. And time will definitely tell, but here we've seen that Kevin Amos is not done yet. And I think that's the most important thing. Can he keep the momentum is the most important question. In first place, we had the quad god, the king of quintuple jumps, probably. I don't know. And that is Ilya Malinin. He came in here as the assumed winner. I feel like he did. A lot of people saw him as like, oh yeah, Ilya Malinen's gonna win. He did super well here at Lombardia Trophy, or previously at Lombardia Trophy. He came in here as the world champion. In the short program, he did have a step out on the quad flip, but he was still narrowly in first there. In the free skate, he did make quite a few mistakes. He did pop a quad loop into a double loop. He did step out on a triple Lutz. He had a quarter on a quad salchow. And so in the free, he was second in the free, but first overall. And I do want to note that there was no quad axle in the program. I have no idea if he's planning to reintroduce it into his program. I believe I believe Tara Lipinski said that he wanted to start off the season slower. So perhaps the plan is to reincorporate the quad axle later in the season. But we did not see it here. But that it almost kind of didn't matter because his quality of the quads is still really good. At the end of his free skate, he did a quad Salchow triple axel combo, which was crazy. I don't believe I've ever seen a quad plus triple axel combo before. At least a quad Salchow plus triple axel combo. It was crazy. And artistically, he's actually developed hugely. And I'm super glad that he has realized that the artistic component side really matters. Both programs are thoughtful, they're connected, they're engaged with music and audience. Especially the short program is really good. The momentum looks really good for him. I think you really would have liked better programs and better scores. Um, he got about 290 here, which, he's done a lot better in the past, but I think that he is still really, really excellent. Um, and I really do think that Eli Molina is quite the force to be reckoned with, and I don't see a lot of people in the near future being able to beat him so far. So it will be interesting to see if the Quad God can be defeated. Interesting. That was the men's event. Great, not chaotic, right? Ha ha ha. But the more chaotic event was the women's event because man, what happened? I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. The women's event, I don't even like this is the event I have the most thoughts about because it was so chaotic and so strange that I could not comprehend. I was tense. I was like, huh? I was on the edge of my seat because in the kitchen cry for these skates, I was like, what are they gonna give? Like, I don't know, these women, like, what scores are they gonna get? Like, I love all of them so much. I love, Livia Kaiser. I love Isabel Levito. I love everyone, but like, huh? Huh? Like, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm making noises now, but I don't know. These women, like, what happened, guys? I'm sorry. I love this competition though. I did feel like it was quite tense and competitive in the air. And these women were so good at competing. The first skater I want to talk about was in eighth place, I believe, and that is Livia Kaiser of Switzerland, who was fourth at Europeans last year, ninth at Worlds, I believe. And she is such a graceful skater, I believe. Or I definitely see. I think it's really clear that she's graceful. She extends super well. In the short program, she did pop a planned triple Lutz triple toe into a triple Lutz double toe. She made the same mistake in the free skate. She popped a double Salchow as well. And also, she had a quarter on her triple loop, but still quite good on both programs. Her short program is more funky and punk kind of vibes, soul kind of vibes, I feel like. Her free skate is set to Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun by Claude Debussy, and it gave huge Carolina Costner vibes, not just because Carolina Costner used the same music, but the way Livia Kaiser moves reminds me of Carolina Costner so much. I loved Carolina Costner. So naturally, I really love Livia Kaiser. Her jumping technique is so airy. It looks like she like flies through the jumps. Whenever she does a rip-on jump or a Tano jump with her arms up, looks beautiful. It looks like she's a cage or something. She's a little bird or like a torpedo. Or, I don't know. But she's really promising, I have to say. I think she has a really bright future, and I think she will continue to surprise as she gets more consistent. In seventh place, we have one of my favorite skaters from Japan, and that is Yuna Aoki, who I feel like is so underrated. Her performance at the 2023 NHK Trophy last year was a highlight of the Grand Prix for me. In the short program, she did have some struggles. She did have a quarter on a triple Lutz, and she missed the combo on that. But at the end, she tacked on a triple flip that was under rotated with a triple loop that was downgraded. Um, and so, there were technical, issues there. Her tango vibe with Adios No Nino in the short, pretty strong. I liked it. I like the vibe. I like it. I like it. I like it. In the free skate, she has such a whimsical free skate, just like last year. Such a fun, it's bright, it's cheerful, it's optimistic free skate. She got a personal best there. She did have a pop, triple sal into a double sal, slight negative GOE on the spin, and a double axle Euler triple flip, which is a very unique jumping combo. I love Aoki's qualities a lot. but Japan is so competitive, and I hope that she still gets at least some international assignments. I'm really praying for that, that she gets more international assignments because I definitely think that she deserves them, and I love seeing her skate. In sixth place here, we had from the USA Elise Lynn Gracie, where this placement was a bit surprising to me. Um, it was quite surprising to me, because she had come in here as one of the favorites to win Elise Lynn Gracie, because she had won at the Nebelhorn Trophy against Isabel Levito with a huge score, 212 or 14 or something crazy like that. It was absolutely crazy. It was, unprecedented kind of thing. That was like, who are you? Where did you come from? How did you get such a big score? In the free skate, or in the short program, I I think the pressure. This was her first Grand Prix, a big learning experience. Perhaps it was the pressure that really influenced her. Unfortunately, here in the short program, she did have a big turnout slash slide slash spin kind of thing on a triple lutz triple toe. She fell on the double axle on the short program. In the free, she had some under rotations on a triple sal and a triple loop, which also did have a fall, and she did stumble on another double axle. And so, the technical issues were kind of peeking through there. I do not think this rules her out for, better results later in the season. She is a good skater, I have to say. I think she has the foundations down. Artistically, I think she will develop more. And technically, I think she will get more consistent. I think this was a case of this is my first time in a Grand Prix. I haven't done this before. A lot of pressure, a lot of she was really seen as one of the favorites going in. I think that maybe affected her. Um, and I hope that she is really okay. She is skating at Skate Canada next week, or I guess now, but we're gonna pretend that didn't happen. And I do hope that she continues to develop even more. I think she is a good skater. I think she has the potential. It's about putting it together under pressure and under those circumstances. In fifth place, we had Brady Tennell, also of the USA. This is a comeback journey for Brady Tennell. Injury after injury after injury affected Brady Tennell, but she is back to show that she is not done yet. Um, she was second in the short program with an under rotation on the triple toe loop and on the combo. The free was going quite well until a under rotation on a double axle triple toe loop and a pop triple lutz into a single lutz. The Ina Bauer and her choreo sequence was stunning. I have to say, it was beautiful. It was majestic. There was quite a confusing incident that happened. Apparently, she submitted, I believe, the wrong cut of music for her free skate, or it was a different cut of music that she didn't want, or her choreographer didn't want. It was a bit unclear, but perhaps that influenced something. I'm not sure. But fifth overall is certainly not bad for Brady Snell, especially for this comeback journey. And I do think that she is a strong skater. She is a strong-willed skater as well. And I think she will continue to do even better as the season goes on. I feel like at US Nationals will be really the telling time for all of these US women. What will they do? I don't know. In fourth place, we had from Belgium Nina Pinzerone, who had a really good 2023-2024 season. She did really good at Grand Prix. She qualified at the Grand Prix final. She won a medal at Europeans. Really good results last season. In the short program, she was fifth with an under rotation on the triple lutz triple toe loop. She had a really good second place in the free with a couple of under rotation calls, but not too bad to bring her up to fourth overall. Her free skate was set to The Handmaid's Tale. A lot of people did not like it on Reddit, at least that's what I saw, because it wasn't really the story of The Handmaid's Tale. It was just using the music of The Handmaid's Tale. Um, and I agree that the program doesn't connect to The Handmaid's Tale a lot, but I don't think that matters necessarily. This is like a bit of my hot take, but I music doesn't have to exist only in the context of how it was created. I sound so professional, oh my god. But just because you skate to The Handmaid's Tale, I don't think that necessarily means that you have to portray The Handmaid's Tale. music is music and music is interpretive, like naturally interpretive, like inherently interpretive. So in my opinion, it's okay if your program is not related to like the movie or the film that the music is from. I think that's okay. But the music that she used was more classical from the soundtrack, and I think Nina Pinzaroni did a really good job portraying those lovely qualities, especially within the choreo sequence. I do feel like she has a very, I think her lines are really good. Her lines are pretty. Um, and yeah, I do think that you don't have to necessarily skate to the Handmaid's Tale story if you're just skating to the music. And I'm very interested to see if she can regain some of that success from last season. But fourth at your Grand Prix is not too bad, and maybe she can be a spoiler at her second Grand Prix. In third place was something quite interesting to me. I did not expect this result going in third place was Isabel Levito of the USA. She had an under rotation and an edge call on her triple lutz triple toe in the short, but otherwise, I do think that the short was really decent. She was in the lead by about 2 points, I believe. In the free, she did have some under rotations and then there was this really terrifying fall on a downgraded triple Lutz. Right from the moment like she got into the air, it looked like she wasn't in the right air position to rotate three rotations all the way, and so I guess she bailed out of it, but then she fell on it, and she fell on a downgraded triple Lutz. Uh, and she was third overall here which was maybe a bit of a shock to me as I really thought that Isabel Levito was the main favorite going in. But, again, ice is slippery, and this was, another learning experience for Isabel Levito. Sometimes I forget that Isabel Levito hasn't been like on the senior circuit for like a long, long time. It's been 3 seasons, which isn't a huge amount of time in skating, I feel like. It's gone by really fast, and I hope that she is continuing to learn from all these experiences. I love both programs as a vessel for her performance. I love the Breakfast at Tiffany's show program. I love the Liebestrom free skate. They're both lovely. They both show off her qualities. They both show off who she is as a skater. They both feel Isabeau. And she just needs a bit more consistency and rotation and a bit of improvement in there. And I think that she can be competitive. After all, she did come in here as the world silver medalist. I think she has the potential in her. It has to do with the jumps. And I think that is a lot of skaters, and not just her at all. The jumps do affect a lot. Okay, next we had in second place Rinka Watanabe, who had a clean short program. Her triple loop, triple toe is still very interesting to me. Oops, sorry. In the free skate, she did have two under rotations, but the rest were all good. Good for her. Love it. I was not super into the component side and the artistry of her program per se. Again, there was a lot of focus on the technical elements for her, but she got most of the technical elements done. I'm really hoping that she can be a bit more artistic, add who is Rinka Watanabe into that program for her. Her free skate is like I forgot what the music is. It's a bit of a tango Spanish style program. Her short program is oh my gosh, I forgot the music. Her short program is oh my gosh, I'm actually blanking right now. What is her short program? Um her short program oh it's Moonlight Sonata, okay. Um I think that she can really add more into them. No triple axel attempt. We've seen previously this season that she's attempted the triple axel, but she did not do it here. Perhaps she will be adding it back in later. And of course, Japan is really competitive. Japan is really competitive, and Rinka Watanabe wants to show that she is competitive. In first place, hold your horses, people. Hold your cowboy horses. I know we're in Texas, but hold your horses. In first place was Wakaba Higuchi from Japan. This was a huge shock to me. Wakaba Higuchi, we have not really seen Wakaba Higuchi do so well in quite a while. Injury took its toll. She did make a slight comeback last season, but it wasn't as well as successful as she hoped. Um, Injury really did take its toll on Wakaba Higuchi, but she is here to show that no, 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 that was not it. That was not it. Um, She was fourth in the short program. She did under rotate her triple Lutz triple toe, and she did have an edge call on the flip, the triple flip. She did have a clean free skate except for a slight step out on the solo triple Lutz. But I really liked this free skate. This was set to Nature Boy and Running Up That Hill, and I've had Running Up That Hill stuck in my head pretty much the entire week. I love the song now. I just like Wakaba. I love her choreo in this was super nice. There was a moment in the choreo sequence or the step sequence that she just put her hand up the same time the beat went up. I was like, oh, so satisfying. Like it just felt like ASMR, visual ASMR or something. Um we've seen previously that Wakaba Higuchi had the triple axel into play. Perhaps she will return to training the triple axel. Perhaps she won't, but still, this was a very surprising result. But it speaks to how strong and how hard she has trained Wakaba Higuchi. Fans love her. Fans loved her performance here. And I think she is not a force that should be underestimated. She is a force to be reckoned with. I'm saying that to like everyone, but like she is a force to be reckoned with. And also, just to point out, 3 skaters skated to Moon River this week. Isabel Levito skated to Moon River in her short program. Brady Tennell skated it to her exhibition program. And Rinka Watanabe also skated to Moon River in her exhibition program. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what Audrey Hepburn did, but Moon River it is, guys. Moon River. Love it. I do like the song, though, so it's okay. Pairs. Okay, pairs was surprising. Pairs was surprising here. Lots of things I didn't really expect at all. It really does continue to interest me. A lot of interesting storylines and results going on within pairs that, they don't make me want to watch pairs because I'm scared, but still really good. In fifth place, we had a team that I thought would do a little better here, unfortunately, and that is Pavlova Siatchenko from Hungary. They are known as the technicians of pair skating. They did make a few mistakes here and there here at Skate America. There was a small spin error in the short, but they were still fourth place at the short program. In the free skate, they had unfortunately issues with the triple toe loop double axel in the free. With a fall there, and there was negative GOE on the choreo sequence. They are doing a Pirates of the Caribbean, I believe, this year, and it wasn't their strongest performance technically or artistically. There is a lot of focus for them on technical elements, which they do well when they do well, but they need both sides of the sport to succeed, obviously. And I think artistically, Pirates of the Caribbean can be really, really well done as a vessel for that. I'm hoping they really express more with the pirate vibe and the sea squashbuckler vibe that they do have going for them. In fourth place, we have the team from Georgia, Medalkina and Berilava. Last season for them was a half junior and half senior season, but they had a lot of success on the junior level and some success on the senior level as well. But I believe they're just doing senior season this year. They were third in the short program with a quarter on the triple Salchow. There was a slight negative GOE on the spin that they did. There were some more jump errors in the free. Unfortunately, there was an invalidated death spiral as well that did cost them quite a few points because they did not, complete the death spiral. But they were fourth overall, just barely a few decimal points behind the team of Efimova and Mitrofanov in third place from the US. One of the many US pairs teams that are really growing. They did pop a side by side triple toe into a double toe in the short. They did the same in the free skate, unfortunately, but they did achieve a new personal best, and they had good throws. I really enjoyed their Je suis malade free skate. There was this moment where Mitrofanov was holding Efimova, and they were just kind of looking up at the sky or the ceiling. I really like that moment. I really like that this was a more introspective pair skating. I think they will develop well. I think they do look very strong as a partnership, and I am very excited to see them continue their careers. In second place, we have the team of Ellie Cam and Danny O'Shea from the USA. They did really well here. They're really putting their name forward as a team that is growing and growing very well. As a team together. They did make a slight error on the triple loop throw and the spin in the short, but they had a personal best free skate with a stumble on the triple Lutz throw, an underrotation and quarter on the triple sal double axel, and a slight error on the triple loop throw. But even achieving a personal best with those errors is really major. And, if they didn't have those errors, then, they would have an even higher personal best, an even higher score, which is really exciting to see for them, to see that they are doing so well. And I think they are really representative of the rebirth, I guess, of American pairs. I think American pairs was kind of in a, not downfall in a way, in a bad way, or it wasn't a moment of regrowing its infrastructure. But teams like FMova Mitrofanov, Kamoshea, and Chan and Hao are really part of that rebirth of American pairs. And lastly, first place in the pairs competition was the Japanese team of Miura and Kihara. Last season for them, the comeback was really huge in that last half. Really good accomplishments and achievements after injury last season. They were first in the short program with a clean skate. In the free skate, they did have quarter on side by side jumps. They did do a triple toe single axle, double axle instead of a double axle in the middle, and they did fall on the triple loop throw in the free. They did still win by a considerable margin of around 13 ish points. And so, I think even considering the mistakes, they still did really good. But the top pairs are really competitive, and I am really interested to see the performances of pairs like Slada Dudek and Champ and Hase Volodin, because the pairs in the global international sphere is competitive right now. How will Miura and Kihara match up to them? We're not too sure yet. We will see maybe at the Grand Prix final, but I'm very interested to see how and who will place and everything. Lastly, we have Ice Dance. Now, Ice Dance is usually calm, right? But even Ice Dance was chaotic. Like, what is wrong? What was wrong with You Skate America? Like, how was the Ice Dance competition chaotic? Like, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. In last place, unfortunately, is a team I really like, and that is Alicia Fabry and Paul Iyer from Canada. They have been on my radar recently ever since they got a third at the Challenger Series Dennis 10 Memorial. They were fourth in the rhythm dance. It was a really strong result for them there. They seem really solid in the rhythm dance and all the elements there. In the free dance, Alicia Fabry, she did a fall on her first set of twizzles. Super surprising. She looked quite surprised from the fall. Um, there was this brief moment of like hesitation, I believe, but she got back up. It did seem quite shocking for them, but they fought and they got back up. She got back up. She kept on fighting. Really shocking, but you know what? It's all okay. But they got back up and they continued skating. They did a cool, really, really cool slide move. And I do feel like within their partnership, you can see that they are really good partners. They have good synergy. They have a good, they have good like companionship, I feel like in their partnership. But unfortunately, because of the fallen whistles, they did end up last in the free dance and unfortunately overall, which I feel so bad for because they were fourth in the rhythm dance and they just dropped down to 10th overall, which I really feel bad for. But I really do enjoy their skating and I'm hoping they can do even better as time moves on. Um, what else? Okay, and then we had the team from the USA in fifth place, and that is Leah Nessett and Artem Markelov from the USA. They were the 2024 Junior World Champions last season, making their Grand Prix debut with a really good result of fifth place, especially for an ice dance team just coming up from the junior ranks. They were eighth in the rhythm dance clean, but GOE wasn't probably as high as they would have liked. They were with a new personal best fifth in the free dance and fifth overall with a new personal best in total score. And this is a really good result for them, as I said, having just come up from the junior level. I've talked about this a lot before, but especially for ice dance teams, the transition from the junior level to the senior level can be quite hard. But it does seem that Nessa and Marklev have really worked hard on the quality of their skating, I would say, is that where I've seen the most improvement from them and showing that hey, like we're not just juniors, we're seniors now, and we're here to show that we are seniors now. And I really do think that's really good. Potential dark horses, honestly, for maybe U.S. Nationals bronze behind Chalk and Bates and Carrera Ponomarenko. Third was Davis and Smokeland from Georgia. They were third in the rhythm dance with pretty good GOE on their elements. Fourth in the free dance, they didn't really get, the score maybe that they wanted. The connection to the free dance wasn't super solid for me. It was powerful music that I think can be a good background to build off on, if that makes sense. But the I believe it was it Led Zeppelin or Metallica? I can't remember. It was like a band, and they were skating to it. I just didn't feel that they were super connected to the music, and so I didn't really feel too connected to the program. But I think that's something they can work on as well. And third was a really good result for the team of Smart and Deke from Spain. They do feel like a newer team. I believe they just partnered up like the off season, like 2 seasons ago, but then they started competing last season. And so they are a newer team, but both of them come with really good experience. Both of them are Olympians with different partners before, but now they are together skating for Spain. And I really feel like they put two and two together, if that makes sense. They matched up well as a team and they produced good scores. I feel like in the past, they didn't really get the scores that they wanted, and I didn't really feel like they were a really good partnership together so far. But here they really developed, and I feel like you can tell that they skate better together now, and they skate less as maybe individuals and more as a team and a couple. And I like that. I like that a lot. They were fifth in the rhythm dance here. Levels could have been higher. And I don't know if I'm reading the protocol wrong, but there was a mistake on the rhythm sequence question mark. But they were third in the free dance for third overall. A major result for them. Amazing job. This could really be their season, in my opinion. I think the European Championships podium could be in sight for Smart and Deke of Spain. So many teams could definitely get there. It's just a matter of who and what those judges think. And I do think that their partnership is growing better, as I said, and perhaps they will get those components and that technical side together for a potential Europeans podium spot. But we will see. It's scary. Europeans in like 3 months. I'm sorry. I know that sounds like a long time. That it's in 3 months, Mango, but that's scary. Second place was a bit shocking, I do feel, and that is because second place was the team of Chalk and Bates, who came in here as the world champions, and they had won Scan America, I believe, 4 times before. They were highly regarded as the presumed winners of the event. Their unfortunate mistake was a fall on the rhythm sequence in the rhythm dance that really brought their score down. The negative GOE on that element, the loss of level, and the deduction put them in second overall, unfortunately. And they were first in the free dance by a good margin, but it was just not enough to put them through to first overall, just barely in second place. Um, but if they had not made that error on the rhythm sequence and the rhythm dance, they definitely would have won by a good margin as well. But it does show that they are at least really still really good in the free dance. Um, I think that a lot of people were very split over these new programs. The rhythm dance I like. It's like different dance styles from all sorts of different eras, and it's really fun. It's chaotic and it's messy kind of. But in the free dance, they're doing a jazz style, and I just it's people were really arguing over it, I have to say. I felt like it was missing a little bit of that iconic chalk and bait style that I really liked from their previous like Snake Charmer program, the Astronaut and Alien program. The program they did last season was a bit more chalk and bait style. This didn't feel as unique, I feel like. I do know that they just debuted it, so perhaps that is why. Maybe it will be a better program for me as the season goes on. And then the rhythm dance was pretty good. It did look more refined. It will look more refined, I believe. Both programs will look more refined as the season goes on. And so first place was a surprise winner, and that is Fear and Gibson. Last season was on a good note for them. They had many successes. They won the NHK trophy, and they're looking to go further on the European podium and World's podium. They've been second at Europeans twice now. They've been fourth at Worlds twice now, and they don't want to hear They don't want to hear it anymore. Fear and Gibson are here to play. I feel like they're here to show that no, no, that's not happening ever again. And so they're really hoping to do better on the European podium and the world's podium to be champions. A good competition for them. They were first in the rhythm dance with some really good GOE. They were second in the free dance, lost some levels here and there. The Beyonce free dance starts off okay. The end is amazing. Their crowd pleasing is their specialty, and they're not afraid to show it and make the crowds clap and clap and clap. This was a really big success for them, and I felt from their programs that they were here to play and here to show that they are more hungry for more victories. I just felt that from them. I think perhaps this season will be a very telling season for Fear and Gibson. They just look hungry. They look like they are here to play. Still being fun, still being creative, still being relatable, but they are here to put their foot down and say, no, 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 we are not fourth in the world anymore. I do feel like they do have a chance this season advancing onto the world podium if the judges fall in their favor, which I think that with this newfound drive in them, I feel like can't happen a lot. Can't happen. It really can't happen. Anything can happen in skating because ice is slippery. Um, yeah, that was Skate America. Have fun, right? It was really fun. Skate America was chaotic. I have to say that. Like I'm not kidding. Like I know I over exaggerate a lot, but I was scared, guys. Like I was like, huh? But yeah, that was it. Let's move on, right? Let's move on. Um, yes, that was the episode about Skate America, and next week will be Skate Canada, or I guess it is this week. But it's next week for you guys, I guess. But please don't be so chaotic, Skate Canada. I'm really begging you. Please don't be so chaotic. I will see you next week in Halifax, Canada. But yeah, my name is Van Gogh. I hope you enjoyed this episode of a Teen Talk Skating podcast, all about Skate America, all my thoughts, all my crying over the women's and the men's and the pairs and the ice dance events. But thank you so much for listening to this episode of a Teen Talk Skating podcast. I'll see you next week in Halifax, Canada, and bye bye.